Welcome to Disaster Party Podcast. As always, this is Rob Cedeno, joined by my co-host.
Oh, whoa, daddy, it's your boy Andy Bivians. That's Bivians, the one true whoa daddy. And just like being the one true whoa daddy and having a date tonight, we're on episode 28, whoa daddy.
Okay, all right.
Boom.
But before we introduce our guest, uh, our guest tonight, I'm just gonna say, as always, remember to like, share, rate, review, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms and YouTube. All right, Andy, introduce it. Start it off.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight, the Disaster Party proudly brings to you our Top 10 wrestling picks of all time.
In
Right
our
here,
opinion.
that's Rob Cedeno. With us, our guest, returning, it is the one, the true, Shawnee D.
That's right, baby. I'm back. And just like Andy said, episode 28, and since we're talking about top 10 wrestlers, we know Rob is going to masturbate while talking about Kenny Omega for the next hour.
I mean, I got him right there. You see him? He's so handsome. Right there.
Is there wrestling on your TV too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. And first time guest, Romy Rome.
Hey, how you guys doing? John Ferreira here. Yeah. Can you pick Kenny Omega for all 1 through 10? Is that okay?
I mean, he should be.
Okay,
He's
cool.
the best wrestler of our time in the last 10,000 years.
All right, that's good thing. This is opinion based, right?
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
Go ask the champ. Go ask the champ. All right, so how do you want to start this? So we're gonna obviously talk about our top 10 favorite wrestlers in our opinion. So do we want to pick an order?
Ooh.
I said we start at 10 and work our way down, baby.
No, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Order of
Well, yeah.
us.
My bad.
know-
that was kind of an open-ended question there.
True. Okay, how about we let Jerome start since this was his idea? He wanted to do this
All
topic.
right. I think my pick is a little bit controversial here.
Okay,
because-
hold on. So when you share the pick, right? Tell us why, and then we'll rebuttal if we feel like we need to, and then we'll go to Sean, and then we'll go to Andy, and then we'll go to myself.
All
Down.
right. Okay.
I'm
All right.
very excited about this list, by the way. Like, just talking to everybody throughout the last couple days and weeks, I'm excited to see who you guys pick.
I already know there's going to be a huge difference in, especially Jerome over here.
Yeah, I haven't watched wrestling since the Attitude Era ended, so
Oh,
I can't even mention any fighters any wrestlers right now. So actually, my first pick my top 10, and I was debating between him and somebody else. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Number 10. Wow.
Okay.
10, yeah,
Oh.
that's what I'm saying.
okay.
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 Good job.
Why is that?
Why is that? Well, I think the reason why I pick him 10 is because I don't think his gimmick, would have lasted today. I just don't think he wouldn't done what he do back in the day today. I just don't think he could do it.
Okay. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's why now he has no hair, and everyone's like, no, keep your hat on.
Exactly. There you go. See? I mean, he was raised for 22 years, but wrestling, but I don't think he could do it anymore.
He's
All
the
right.
showstopper.
All right. Any rebuttal to that? I mean, top 10 all time, I think that works.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think Sean hasn't probably a little bit more than 10.
I think so.
I mean, HBK obviously in the top 10, but that's pretty low on the list there.
Well, maybe all time, but not on Jerome's list because it's our opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, right, and I guess, and maybe a little bit of rebuttal to that. Jerome mentioned that he stopped watching, late 90s, early 2000s. And probably in that time period when he stopped watching I'm going to guess is when Shawn Michaels was on his hiatus from his back injury. And so there's a whole nother, 8 or 9 years of amazing Shawn Michaels performances and matches that he missed out on.
Him and Taker, Mania, #1.
Right? Him and Taker, him and Jericho, Angle, the list goes on and on.
Him and Flair.
I just don't think that he would be relevant right now. I don't think he would be relevant. I mean, come on. His kick, the switching music is being used by everybody right now. It's like,
okay, I have a question, Rome. So I'm pretty sure all of our lists are determined maybe by a different thing, whether it's like matches, skills, promos, how they would relate today, all that stuff, or just childhood memories kind of thing.
Yes.
How is your list created, and maybe we'll have a better understanding of why.
All right, so I did say promo. I think he has a good promo. Wrestling also. I think I picked also marketability. How can I market him today? That's what I do. I put one. That's a category right now. It's like, can I market him today? I don't think I can. I really don't think I can. I mean, I think what was his gimmick? The cute guy, the Heartbreak kid. I mean, switching music kind of guy. Come on. I mean, today I don't think he will. It's a little more attractive wrestlers right now, so I don't think he could do it.
I like the way you're going at your list, honestly.
Yeah, I do.
I appreciate it. So much I could say to rebuke this number 10 for you, but I will wait until we get further into my list to defend it.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what, it's controversial because I think my next top 4, you will disagree that they're better than Shawn Michaels, but I think I could definitely market them easier than Shawn Michaels right now.
All right. Sean, number 10.
Number 10 for moi, I am going with Y2J, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
Okay.
The Bryan Hart, the current leader of the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho.
Okay.
For me, I mean, this guy has just stood the test of time. Maybe he's not on top of things as much as he was in the past today. But, I think back to this guy has created a large part of what my list is based on is memories that I have, obviously, remembering how I felt as a fan watching these guys during certain performances at any given time. Again, this guy is just continuously, he's managed to stay relevant and stick around. His matches, physically might not be what they used to be, but he's still relevant. You just going back to, I think one of the most entertaining and memorable periods of Jericho for me would be WCW Chris Jericho. That guy, to this day, I can still go on YouTube and watch some of those WCW clips and just die laughing. The list of the 1,001 holds. So if you guys remember,
yes.
Armbar. Every other 700 some odd whatever was armbar. Hysterical. The whole Ralphus thing, fantastic.
He's awesome.
And you skip ahead. There's just so many things that guy's done in his career. I could go on and on and on about it, but
yet you have him. I'm number 10. And I want you to everything that Sean said. Remember that. Number 10.
All right, Andy, you go.
All right. So for me, my number 10, the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Harley Race.
Nice.
Okay. All right, but wait, real quick. Before you go into it, because I'm very curious here. How are you ranking your list? What is your strategy?
So, mine was kind of overall like how they changed the business, so to speak.
Okay.
How they help pave the way. I mean, every single wrestler that's ever been on a roster has helped pave the way in one shape or form. But how they have brought more out, so to speak, and made the business more popular.
Okay.
Harley Race, he's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He was the champion before Ric Flair, before Dusty. King Harley Race, so to speak, when he used to come out with the crown and just his work, his moves, his promos, tough dude. Harley's got to be there.
Legit tough guy, well known.
All right.
What was his gimmick? Do you remember? Oh, he
Tough
has
guy.
no gimmick.
He was
Oh, the
tough.
tough guy. Okay, gotcha.
Well, I mean, he was a king at one point.
okay.
He was King Harley Race. But, no, yeah.
Hey, Andy. What's your finish?
We're not doing that.
I'll move.
All right. So I like it that my list was created like kind of real life stuff. Like where it was when I started watching, at what point, what really caught my eye at the time. So
Okay.
I like how like Jerome is going how to kind of market the person overall. Andy, you're going in like how they affected the business. And Sean is kind of going in the same way I'm going, as like kind of real life, where I was in life, kind of. Did I understand that right, Sean?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Just so people know how we're going at it differently. So my top 10 is actually the same as Sean's. Chris Jericho.
Wow.
Oh.
Yep. And the reason why is very similar to what Sean was saying. Like, I remember during my like hiatus, or like not my hiatus, like my biggest time watching wrestling, WCW, WWE, when the Monday Night Wars, but Jericho and WCW, especially with the cruiserweights and stuff for a while. And then I just remember his entrance with The Rock. And then at that, like, I remember him winning the Undisputed title for the first time. And then I took like a break from wrestling. And then right when I started hearing about his like controversial storyline with Shawn Michaels' wife and stuff, I was like, okay, that brought me back. And then I took another little break, and then it was like a little bit before him and Kevin Owens did their whole friendship, and then obviously till now. So he's always kind of been there in my span of watching wrestling. Like whenever I take a break and come back, he's always there, and it's never the same. It's not like, oh, look, Chris Jericho again. Like it's always entertaining. So he was.
Yeah, you put him at number 10. Just remember that.
Oh, I remember.
Somebody's salty.
All right, Ron, go
number 10. Wow.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just this is you guys' show, but I think maybe it would be maybe interesting or a good idea with our suggestions. What if we each picked one match, like a favorite match from these guys that we liked or something?
If you have that, sure. Or we could like recommend a segment just in case. Like if you have a match. Yeah.
A memory.
Yeah, or a memory. Yeah, something like, hey, go back and watch that. I remember as a kid. I blah blah blah. Yeah. Or this match here changed the business, like for Andy's, or this is the best match to market Shawn Michaels or whatever. Yeah.
I think my next one is the artist formerly known as Goldust.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm with that pick.
To me, that guy. I mean, even marketing today, he fits right in.
He's still wrestling today.
He's still going.
Yeah, but even with that gimmick, Goldust, it would have been perfect today. I mean,
That's
we have
true.
we have a lot of transgender people, pansexual, asexual, bisexual. He would have fit right in.
Yeah, because he was so
That's
controversial
insane.
back then.
Yes, he was.
Oh, yeah.
I think. I mean, and he's still fighting today. So
Yeah.
can I market him? Of course he can. Could we market right now? Anyway, he also go ahead, Sean.
No, I'm sorry. I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, I just think that also his gimmick was so controversial that he, I think, broke a barrier. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't know what was he? Was he trying to be, bisexual, asexual, homosexual, whatever it was, but it was something different. And I think that was very good during the Attitude Era. That was very good. I really liked Goldust.
What I was gonna start saying there was so yeah, you said the word controversial there, and at that time, I mean, being gay or homosexual was still very, very, very taboo. And so when they did that at the time, I feel like it was more controversial in the sense that it angered people more because it was such a taboo thing, and people were so much more. A lot more people were homophobic than they are today, and you have to wonder how. And people who were part of the gay community back then were also mad at the portrayal of the gimmick because they felt like it was mocking them or things of that nature. So I feel like yes, you could market that character today, but you'd have to tweak it and change it.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
I love every form of what he's done with that character. What he's just done in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Sean. Numero 9.
All right. So, man, my number 9, the wrestling purists are going to want to stomp me out for this one. But I do not give a damn because I love this guy. I always have. My number 9 is Big Sexy Kevin Nash, a.k.a. Diesel. Let me tell you something. When I was in 5th grade, 1995, this guy was a WWF champ for a year. I ran on Diesel power for 5th grade, baby. I think that, this guy to me just oozed being cool, like his swagger, like everything about him. I've like so many times too where this guy
I'm
is just
done.
like
I'm done.
little.
Sorry, I'm done. I'm done.
Says the guy who put Shawn Michaels at number 10.
You put him over Chris Jericho after you talk. This guy was the worst. This guy was a loser.
Loser, did you hear me?
Kevin Nash was a loser. He destroyed
was the
WCW. He
personification
destroyed
of cool.
WCW. He destroyed WCW. He's a loser, man.
What are you talking about?
He was a guy in
WCW.
high school. He was a guy in high school who thought he was cool, but he was a loser. He's looking back at his life in high school and say, "Oh my God, high school was my best years." He was a loser. Dude, come on, take him out.
Wow. Well, I will continue on my feelings about Big Sexy Kevin Nash, and I just think like there's this guy's swagger, everything about him. I love listening to interviews, not just like wrestling interviews, but shoot interviews with this guy. I think he's super intelligent about wrestling in a way that other people aren't. He didn't have 5-star matches. He didn't need to. I just loved everything this guy did. Not everything, but I was a huge Diesel fan. I thought Kevin Nash was cool too. Like I said, 5th grade, I was running on Diesel power all over the neighborhood. And a kind of a silly, fun little story. For our 5th grade, it's the last year of elementary school, and there's a talent show at the end of the year. And my idea for what I wanted to do for the talent show, this was right after WrestleMania 11 when him and Shawn Michaels, he beat Shawn Michaels for the belt or, retained it. And I wanted to have a wrestling match for the talent show. And I was going to be Diesel. And I picked this other short kid to be Shawn Michaels. And basically, teacher said, let's do it. But for me, it was just an excuse to powerbomb some kids on stage.
He literally only had like 3 moves: the kick, the boot, the power bomb, and the leg drop.
And he never did a leg drop, bro. So you're thinking the wrong guy.
No, he did the other 2. What's his name? He did a leg drop. I'll show you. I'll send you a video.
I never seen.
So maybe he only did 2 moves. Maybe, I'm sorry. Great wrestler.
I've never seen the guy that I like that you don't like do a leg drop.
Oh my goodness. All right. Go ahead.
So,
I'm just gonna say too. I'm sorry. Jerome's really mad already, but this was his idea. This topic was his idea.
Yeah, it was.
But I think we're gonna have some integrity here. I mean, putting Kevin Nash over Chris Jericho. I mean, you cannot market this guy today. This guy is a loser. This guy will be looked at as a loser.
Not true. People love him. There's a guy who hasn't watched wrestling in 20 years.
All right, Andy. All right.
So, my number 9, he should be up higher, and I had a hard time trying to put them in number categories. So, but number 9, ooh yeah, dig it, Macho Man Randy Savage, yeah. First off, created high flying in that era because he's the only one that pretty much came off the top rope.
Snooker
Came off the top rope too, but Snooker didn't go off the top rope to the outside. Granted, he jumped off the cage once, but this guy was very, very. How can I put it? Like he had like the giant capes and he had this larger than life personality that you believed in because it was him. And the match between, if you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch WrestleMania. It's him and Steamboat, probably the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Yeah, there's not enough good things you can't say about Macho Man.
I can agree to be in the top 10. I agree.
Okay. All right.
I mean, he's a sure-in.
All right. You know, Jerome, you didn't specify what kind of list. You just said top 10. So, you know, our wrestlers might not be
it's just,
like Mount Rushmore top 10 wrestlers, you know. So it could just be our
I know,
favorite.
it's just that to me, one of the worst wrestlers is Kevin Nash, honestly. I just think his whole gimmick of being cool, that thing was just so corny. It was just corny. I'm sorry. I just didn't like the vibe. The whole click thing, I didn't like that whole thing. It was just, and then he destroyed WCW. But he was just greedy. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Jerome, you're definitely not going to know my number 9. So he's definitely probably the youngest guy on this list of all of our picks. He is the reason why I still watch New Japan. He's a fucking awesome wrestler. And that is the champ over there, Will Osprey.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say Jay White.
No. Fuck
I was hoping it was Jay White.
Yeah.
Jay White's awesome.
No, Will Osprey, honestly, he's the British guy from Essex. Like, he is, 5'10", 5'11", but he like changed, in my opinion, he like changed the high flyer-esque, like Rey Mysterio, luchador-esque, because he's like all over the place, just jump, flip, round, boom, boom, but then like he's been slowing down the flippy shit, and now he's like mixing it in with like technical wrestling. So it's like, imagine like the speed and the high flight of like Rey Mysterio, but mixed with some technical wrestling. So it's like he's got it all over, and his personality is he's just this smug British guy who is like, I'm better than you and you know it, kind of thing.
The stuff I've seen that guy do, like, there's high flying, and then there's Will Ospreay. Like, he created his own category.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, he had to be on my list because, again, he's the only reason why I watch New Japan right now.
Okay.
I hear, oh shit, did you see that Osprey match? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go watch it because.
Wait a second. Hold on. He's the only. I took my glasses off for this. He's the only reason you watch New Japan right now?
It's been pretty bad, bro.
So you don't watch it for Bullet Club?
I see the old school Bullet Club I was down.
Mr. Bullet Club himself, you don't watch it for Bullet Club?
Old school Bullet Club.
Tama Tonga's still over there.
Yeah,
Jay White's
boring.
still over there.
Yeah, I hate Jay White. Alright, but yeah, that's my number 9. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, my issue with Osprey, I like Osprey. I enjoy watching him. I can only watch so much of him because I feel like his stuff is too much. To me, he falls too much into that category of that it's over choreographed and it doesn't, a lot of times, doesn't look like a fight. I like my wrestling for the most part to look like a fight, but unfortunately, he doesn't do that for me.
Like,
well,
is he one dimension? Is that what it is? Like Kevin Nash?
No, he's a much better wrestler than Kevin Nash.
Okay. Just want to make sure I understood.
But Sean, he's actually been changing that style a little bit. It's not as choreographed. Well, it doesn't look like that as much. I think he was like, he listened to the criticism kind of stuff. So it does look a little bit more real because he mixes. It's a good mix of like technical and high fly.
Well, he kept getting hurt too. He had to stop doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Like if he kept going the way he was going, he'd probably be paralyzed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how many times?
Cerebral Assassin.
Yeah, how many times you get dropped on your or land on your own neck like that? You know, you can't keep doing that.
That's true. Yeah.
I feel like one's enough.
Yeah, he did it every night.
Are you gonna shit on this one or what? Because it's your number
Um,
8 pick now.
Oh, it's me? Okay. So I would say I lie, I cheat, I steal. Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
I agree.
All
All
right.
right.
At
I
your
mean,
number 8.
Yeah, the reason why I picked him again, I think he's also marketable. I mean, you always have to have some, Spanish Latino guy in wrestling to draw that crowd. So I would use him a lot if I was, Vince McMahon. I think
Okay.
also the frog splash was probably one of the most, to me personally, aesthetic, high flying move. It was very nice how it looked. It was really nice.
Mhm.
And it was different
I
than
got a
RVD's at
question
that
then.
time.
Yes.
I was about to say, I got a question then. Who do you like better? Do you like RVD's Frog Splash better or Eddie Guerrero's Frog
I like
Splash?
Eddie's. I like Eddie's.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were so different, but they were.
Yes.
It's like they almost didn't recognize the same move.
Yes.
And I feel
Yeah.
like Eddie's was more like a frog.
Yes. I think the aesthetic was just better for me.
Height. I agree.
Okay. Shawnee D.
All right. My number 8 is Kevin Nash.
Rome's
What?
head spun
No,
around
he didn't.
so quick.
We could just get this over with. We could just get this over with because I don't feel like being pretty much degraded by Jerome for the next hour. But Kevin Nash makes up my 9 through 1 because he's the coolest.
God.
My number 9 is
8.
Owen Hart.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So specifically, I loved, the mid 90s, Owen Hart feuding with his brother, the King of Hearts. And at the time, when you're a little kid like that, 10 years old, you're supposed to hate the bad guys, especially a bad guy like Owen Hart was. He was a little slimy, like jealous little brother who was always screwing over, his big brother, the hero. But for some reason, I don't know what it was. I think because he was just so entertaining at doing it. I loved Owen Hart, even when I was a little kid, even when he was dastardly, slimy bad guy. Excellent in the ring, believable. I just love watching that guy perform. And it doesn't help too. You mean everything you ever hear in any interview you watch from any wrestler who knew the guy, how awesome of a guy he was, you got to respect that too.
Mine is Stone Cold, but yes.
Do you want to know something weird? Because you mentioned Owen Hart, I believe that Owen Hart, when he passed, was like right when I started watching wrestling.
Oh, wow.
I remember watching that pay-per-view.
Me too.
So do I.
Watching
I have
Sunday Night Heat.
I still have the recorded VHS from the pay-per-view somewhere in my house.
So do I.
I was very confused what happened. Honestly, didn't know what happened. I was very confused.
Yeah.
That was Judgment Day, right?
Over the top. 99.
Over the top, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because they came back. They ran the video package. They came back, and the cameras were just on the crowd, and JR was
It was
just
weird.
yeah, very weird.
The announcers didn't say anything for a while too. Like they tried to call it, but I mean, they were worried about their brother, and it went on for like an hour, and then I think it was like during one of the matches where they announced it.
Yeah.
It was like right before. I remember very vividly. It was right before the main event that they announced that he died.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's sad.
Yeah. All right.
All right, I'm switching my order, and I moved him up. So now my new number 8 is Jake the Snake Roberts.
Ooh.
Well, you are
okay.
going old school, huh? Damn.
Yeah. Here's why. So not only did he carry around a snake with him, which everybody was terrified of, he was always like he was a snake. Like that's who he was. The business aspect of it, you want to talk about a guy who can cut amazing promos. He would always talk very low. So you had to lean into the TV so that way you can hear him and understand him. And then he'd raise his voice, but then he would drop it back down. And just the cadence, how he carried himself, just everything about his performance. Like he's He's got to make that list.
Master psychologist.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Anything else?
Favorite match with Jake would probably be him and Savage. When he tied Savage up in the ropes and then had the snake bite him. And then hearing the story behind that is hilarious.
I gotta say, I think, I don't know. We always think of memories, and like I feel like for wrestling, like most people's memories of wrestling are like some kind of promo or like live action, something going on in a match. But my favorite visual ever in wrestling is that visual of Macho Man in the ropes, the snake on his arm, and Jake's like kind of on his belly almost, or on his knees, and just has this evil smile on his face while he's like watching it. And there's a certain camera angle where they showed it all together. And it's like my favorite visual ever in wrestling. It's so menacing. It's just, oh God, I love it.
Yep.
All right.
I want to get like a custom T-shirt made of that or something.
All right. So my number 8, more of a newer age guy, still wrestling, and I'm gonna say it, Finn Balor or Prince Devitt.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. So Finn Balor, to me, again, I watched some of his Bullet Club stuff before he came to WWE, but then I watched more like when he got and I started recognizing him more. But just especially the way he's reinvented himself, because he was the creator of Bullet Club. Then he became, like, he worked up the ranks of New Japan, came over to WWE, different swaggered with all the paint, so that he created the demon character. That was awesome. And then now he's like this, like, almost smug guy, just going, I'm going to beat your ass and I'm the best there is kind of thing. Just his matches are just, especially the fact that he can change his, like, match from Finn Balor to the Demon and how fast and all the attacks he does. To me, I don't know, just, again, if you want to go into the category of like Andy, like what he's done for, the new age kind of like people, I feel like he's the one that trained Becky Lynch. Like he's been wrestling for so long, and his matches are awesome. I just remember some of the NXT matches as like that ladder match with him and Kevin Owens in NXT in Japan. That was awesome. And then him and Samoa Joe in those cage matches, awesome. So again, Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, number 8. And I've met him, and he's a really nice guy. So that's a point. That's a point.
What pops out in my mind about Finn Balor is his NXT entrance in London.
Yes.
I remember when they put out the documentary on him and how he did like the different things and how he did like the Venom face paint in one of the other indie shows. But I always thought like his presence was something different that he brought, to where like, everybody's got their entrance and everything, and everybody, tells who they are through their entrance. But then once you got in the ring, it was a totally different story, and it all built from that entrance right there. So like Rob was saying, like when he went into the Demon, it was just a different feel to it than his normal matches as just being just Finn Balor. So I agree.
All right, Robbie, back to you then.
So I think the next one is, I think he's just he knows what he's doing. He's, I think, a veteran. I would say is Have a Nice Day, Mick Foley.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I think he could play any role. He had 3 roles at one point. I mean, he knows everything. I mean, he's a very overall good wrestler. I think promo maybe the only thing I could say he might be not the best at. He did cut some good ones. Some good way, Sean. The reason why I say that is because, again, I have other ones I consider other people higher than him, right? Obviously, I don't see wrestling today, right? But I do think that's the only thing that I would say I need help on. Everything else, I think he's good. Go ahead, Sean. Defend him.
I'm utterly speechless right now.
Give me his best promo.
Oh, that one when he was like introduced and he was talking about his life.
Okay, but that's not. I mean, that's his life. I don't consider that a promo. To me, a promo is more like to me in the sense of like you're playing a character, the gimmick, right?
Yeah, that was a gimmick, that promo when they first introduced him, and he was like, yeah, and I don't have any friends and all that other stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
that was a good promo.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Triple H beats him up, busts him open. SmackDown, I think it was. Either SmackDown or Raw, he comes out and he goes, Triple H, you made me bleed my own blood, and you're right. I can't wrestle you, so I have to find a replacement. And I know somebody is hardcore that can face you. And he starts ripping off the shirt, and the fans are going crazy. He's like, it's going to be Cactus Jack.
I just think that there's other wrestlers. So again, my category, my top 10, I have criteria, and I think I wouldn't put him to be at the top of the promo on my criteria. That's why. Okay. I think that's what I did. So I'll take it back.
You don't have to take back your number. That still works.
Yeah. He's still there. I mean, right. But as far as I think the other one, I think I just had to put him in before Mick Foley. I'll give you my reasons later.
Okay.
Right.
Shawnee, 7.
Well, I'm gonna reserve my Mick Foley comments for a little bit. If you get the hint. So my number 7. My bad. No, it is not Kevin Nash again. For me, number 7, most people know him as Daniel Bryan. I will refer to him as Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
I thought about putting him on my list.
I love this guy. From the first time I ever saw him wrestle, this guy blew my friggin' mind. It was September 2004 at the old National Guard Armory in Philly for Ring of Honor. This is when I was training to be a wrestler myself, and was traveling around with my trainer and a group of other guys, and I would go to different shows with him that he was working on, do some backstage stuff, setting up the ring, the chairs, all that good stuff. And this is my first Ring of Honor show I ever went to, whether as a fan or wrestler in training, whatever you want to say. And the main event that night was Bryan Danielson versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was the champ. And these guys beat the holy hell out of each other for about 45 minutes. I had never seen strong style indie wrestling before that point, and these guys blew my mind. And Andy, this is something that I think you'll understand. So that was the main event, and I'm kind of a trainee. I'm like running errands backstage. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need this. Okay, yes, sir. Blah blah blah. Go do what you got to do. But I was also lucky to be able to kind of sit right outside the curtain and kind of watch the show in between doing stuff. And I was able to stand there and watch this entire match. And as soon as Samoa Joe, Bryan disappeared. I don't know where he went. But Samoa Joe, as soon as that guy came through that curtain, this is probably not the best backstage etiquette, but I pretty much ran back through the curtain right behind him and got right in his face and shook his hand. I was like, oh my God, and totally marked out to the champ backstage as he's completely out of breath, sweating profusely. He just was in a war for 45 minutes. Thank God he didn't beat the shit out of me.
I'm actually shocked.
Yeah, but he was cool. He just nodded and said thanks. And I went on my merry way, start taking down the ring and all that good shit. But anyway, Bryan Danielson, another guy who, big comeback a couple years ago. This guy never has a bad performance, no matter what. This guy continues to overcome everything, like whether it is like real life or, like professionally, whatever you want to call it. The guy's an inspiration. He's like he's an underdog in the truest sense of that word. He's somebody I could watch anytime.
I agree. I've had a similar feeling like that when I got to watch Hardy and Jushin Thunder Liger go live for the first time in front of my own eyes. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah, I agree. He's awesome.
I don't know who he is, but okay. I'm not saying he's bad. I don't know him. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure he's probably better than Kevin Nash and everybody else out there. But
I'd agree. All right, Andy.
So my pick I'm shuffling again. But my next pick is going to be the Cerebral Assassin, the game, Triple H.
Okay.
Triple H has led the Attitude Era, in my opinion, along with many others. Triple H has also been able to reinvent himself while keeping himself current for so many years. A couple reasons that stick out to me is what Triple H and Austin's feud, and you got Triple H and Rock's feud. Him and Mike, like you can just name them all. Like he carried so many different spots in wrestling that like people try to look up to him and like try to like kind of replicate that, and he's got to be on that list.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if I had a top 11, I probably would have put him inside here. I mean, I like him a lot. I think he's a very good wrestler, very good promo. Also, the look, the pedigree was probably one of my best. I love the finisher. I just didn't. I think one part that I think when he came in, I think I like the future of him, not the beginning.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like not like the DX side of him, but like
That whole click thing was to me was a waste of time.
he just hates the click.
Yep.
Where? All right.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
right,
Triple
Rob.
H, Triple H isn't on my list, but like the guy has played I mean, obviously everybody knows what his role is today, but even back then, like the late '90s, early 2000s, like that guy was in every major feud. He was the heel in the business in that time period, and you know, his feud with Mick Foley. I mean, like you said, like you know, just everybody he feuded with. He was in like every main feud in that time period.
You want to talk
Definitely
about being a student of your craft?
Yeah.
Yes,
Probably doesn't get the credit he deserves, but yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agreed.
He was in a lot of the storylines featuring a lot of people that are on the top. Like he's definitely all time like 20. Top 20.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah. All right.
Favorite segment: him and Taker throwing Austin and Rock off the stage through a table right before pay-per-view. Probably my favorite Raw too.
I remember that one.
McMahon got beat up by the Ministry, and then it was McMahon versus Shane. Shane beat him up, and then McMahon hit a stunner and pinned him, doing the whole Austin head shake thing in the same show. And then Taker grabs, I think, Austin by the throat and goes down in like the Brood lift, and smoke comes up, and then Triple H throws Rock off one side of the stage, and then Austin comes back out, tries to fight him, and then they throw Austin off the other side of the stage.
I have to check that one out. I forgot all about that.
All right. Well, my number 7, again, Jerome, you're not going to know this one, but you'll know a couple of my next ones after that. Kevin Owens. Kevin Steen. The dude, again, I learned about him like NXT days, like early on, but I went back, watched a lot of his Ring of Honor stuff and all that stuff. Like, this dude is just crazy. He's an awesome wrestler. He literally just... He walks around with such a confidence, I think, and his mic skills are like... Just his shit talking in matches is just hilarious. And to me, that him and Finn Balor got me back into wrestling at that point, like with NXT and all that stuff, because I was kind of getting bored of WWE, and I was like, okay, at least there's NXT to watch. And again, I met him too. He's awesome. But just his swagger, and like every time he's in a match, he's just talking shit to his opponent through the whole time. And it's just, to me, great wrestler, hardcore wrestler, has taken some damage. And yeah, number 7.
Favorite Owens moment? I think it's Shinsuke goes to do a dive on Owens, and Owens just walks the other way.
But that's what it is. It's just like a sarcastic asshole while he's wrestling, and he's not a generic. He would never be a generic just like move to move wrestler. Like one of his top things that makes him so unique is that the fact he does talk shit and he does like sarcastic shit like that in matches. Like he's not a forgettable wrestler when you watch him. Like maybe not the most recent WWE stuff, but NXT, especially when he came up and it was like him versus Cena and that whole feud, like, and then everything after that with Sami Zayn and before that with Sami Zayn is just, yeah.
I agree.
So,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean. I mean, I don't know. I think that's the only guy probably I heard of him, but I don't know him if I would see him from the new age people right now.
Okay.
No, I love this guy. He is one of my favorite wrestlers. Again, he's a guy that I, kind of met when I was training myself, and like I've just been a huge fan of that guy since the first time I saw him. He is one of my favorites, but he just hasn't quite cracked my top 10 yet.
Okay.
All
right, Rome. Number 6.
All right, so I use this one as a segue because I think my top 5 could be interchangeable. You could change them. So he's like my marker. I think you cannot mention WCW without this guy. Sting.
Hulk Hogan?
Sting.
Sting,
okay.
yeah.
I say Sting. He's
He's still wrestling.
I know. Yeah, I heard he's still wrestling. I think this is probably also why I hate Kevin Nash so much, is because I think when he beat Goldberg, I really think it should have been Sting. Honestly, I mean, because to me, WCW equals Sting. And since Kevin Nash was on the helm, obviously he needed to take. The ego couldn't let it go, and he took that away from Sting. So I say Sting, number 6.
Now, how do you know that was Kevin Nash's decision to make that happen? Why hating on somebody who wasn't
number 6? Number 6 Sting. Number 6 Sting.
Okay, all right, Sean.
Why are you hating on a guy just doing his job? No, I respect it. Sting. I mean, you think of WCW, Sting. That's Sting. I agree. But my number 6 is Mr. Monday Night, the whole effing show, Rob Van Dam.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So I was a huge, huge ECW fan.
Yes.
I used to go to all the shows at the Civic Center, and some of the best memories from those shows, RVD was always in the main event, and, he would always put on no matter who he was wrestling against, his main event. I mean, it was kind of weird because and this isn't to tear down anybody else, but his main events in ECW, like, it was all the RVD match was always the main event match, but he was so damn good that you could put anybody in there with him. Guys that typically were just mid-card guys, and they would main event pay-per-views with Rob Van Dam. And even on the house shows, like we used to go to the ones in Poughkeepsie and in White Plains all the time, whether it was like, Balls Mahoney or, like Rhino, like any of those guys. And those guys were all awesome themselves, but they weren't main event level guys. But RVD was so damn good, it didn't matter who was in the main event with him. This guy would just put on a clinic for like super exciting matches for like a half an hour. And one of the coolest things was, being at the ECW shows. I mean, those shows were fun enough in and of themselves. If you've ever been to one, you know what I'm talking about. But this guy would kill himself for a half an hour. And then at the end of the match, the show's over. His music would be playing, Walk from Pantera over and over again for like 15, 20 minutes. And that dude would just take his sweet ass time walking around the ring, along the guardrail, up the ramp, both ways, high-fiving, shaking every single person's hand who was there. Like, it's just some of the cool memories, just pressing yourself, like squeezing into that guardrail and just waiting for RVD to come through, all sweaty with his, that thick, tape he had on, high-fiving you. It was just the coolest feeling in the world when you're like a 17-year-old kid who loved violence and all that shit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I say he's definitely top 10.
I have him in my honorable.
Okay.
All right, Andy. 6.
So Once again, I'm shifting around numbers here. Eventually, that guy will make it there. But I think my next one's gonna have to be The Rock, People's Champion, the Brahma Bull.
Yeah.
And one match, one pay-per-view, my favorite WrestleMania, in my opinion, was WrestleMania 17, which is said to be the greatest WrestleMania package of all time between Rock and Austin. And the match between Rock and Austin is what comes to mind when I think about that. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. But The Rock The Rock was able to connect with people just like Hulk Hogan was, you know? I think him and a bunch of other people were able to connect with them, but only certain amount of people had that like marquee status. Like if you heard Triple H or The Rock were coming into town, you were like, oh, I gotta buy a ticket. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like, oh, who are they wrestling? Then I'll think about it. It was their names here, their names in town. You're going no matter what.
The most electrifying man. That was the People's Champ.
And not only did he do that in wrestling, he did it in movies, he did it in appearances, he did it on TV shows. He brought so much more visual to the product in different genres that may not have been there if he wasn't in it.
Agreed. I'm down with it. I like it.
I always thought he was overrated.
Okay.
Ooh. How is that?
He's messing with you. He's obviously messing with you. I mean, because if he picked Kevin Nash, there's no way. He's messing with you.
Word. All right. My number 6, childhood memories. You can't say that we didn't walk around doing like this. Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. That was like prime. That was like my big time watching wrestling in high school. Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, Team Extreme, like just those spots off the ladder. Like you didn't see those. Like the TLC matches were, one of a kind at that point. And that was before the everyday, there's a ladder match like every week now, and all these like high dives off the ladder. Like that was Jeff Hardy's thing. Like just the shit that he's dealt with. And he got speared from Edge off the top. Just the high dives, like the really high one when he jumping on tables, like all that shit was invented basically by him. Well, you could say ECW, but the way he did it was definitely a different way. He was able to do it all the time. But yeah, Jeff Hardy. I mean, everyone walked around with the Hot Topic at that point and dressed like him. Wore the baggy pants like him. Like had the spike buckle, like the belt buckles, all that shit. Like that was all him, in my opinion.
Very high flyer too. You like the high flyers, Rob?
Yeah.
Looks like your pick is the high flyers, most of them.
I do like high flyers.
That's that rumble dive off the top of the fanway on the Bubba and the table. Oh yeah, on top of the cab.
The fact that he's still wrestling too is like, how are you not dead?
Yeah.
But
he hurts.
Oh, I'm sure he has to. I'm sure he has to. All right, Rome, number 5. We're getting to the top 5 now. Halfway through.
So, like I said, mine are now switching back and forth. I mean, that was Andy Vivian's number what? What was the number 6, right? You said number 6, The Rock.
Yep.
Mine is number 5, The Rock.
Okay. All right.
So whatever Andy said, times 2.
All right, so we can skip over that one then. Quick.
Yep.
All right, Sean, 5.
Number 5, Mick Foley. Any incarnation of Mick Foley. I love this guy. Much like, the funny thing about Mick Foley is that, again, he's not your stereotypical wrestler. He, for somebody who's 6 foot, like 4, and damn near 300 pounds most of his career. Am I boring you, Rob?
No, I'm just so tired, dude.
But for somebody who's 6'4" and damn near 300 pounds most of his career, somehow a guy of that size and that toughness is always like the lovable underdog. Like that guy has just always been able to connect with people on every level. he's not the greatest technical wrestler in the world. His matches are always exciting, hard-hitting, believable. They look like fights, which is something that I look for in wrestling. And, you know, Jerome was saying before about, you know, the promos. He felt like Mick Foley was lacking in the promo department.
Compared to others.
Yeah. But but to me, like, this guy like cut some of the most awesome promos of all time. He's one of my favorite promo guys of all time. And I mean, you go back to his ECW promos after he left WCW in like 1994, 1995. Those are some of the best friggin' promos I ever heard in my life. I mean, I didn't hear those promos until a few years later, and they're just tremendous. And then you go fast forward a few years when he's in WWF, and that sit down interview he did with JR, where he opens up about, you know, Mrs. Foley's baby boy and jumping off the roof and all that stuff, and, you know, bringing to light that Dude Love character he had in his head when he was like in college and all that stuff. And not just that, but, you know, just so many, you know, his promos with Ric Flair in 2006 when they had that feud, like after the very real life feud they had, like with Ric Flair talk shit about him in his book. You know, that's another thing right there. Mick Foley right there too, is that his books are incredible. And they're so, especially that first book is so damn inspirational. If you're not a wrestling fan, go read his first book, Have a Nice Day. It's an incredible story. But yeah, Mick Foley, I mean, the guy's an inspiration. It's amazing he's still walking to this day. Yeah, can't say enough about this guy.
All right.
I agree.
Andy,
I agree.
5? I mean, we talked about
5.
Mick Foley with Jerome, too.
Number 5 for me, that comes with a little bit of hard times, if you will.
Okay. All right.
5 for me is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. This guy was the personification of the blue-collar worker that everybody could relate to. His promos were always on point. It was always him versus 6 other people, but, you know, he was going to ride that it because he wined and dined with kings and queens. Like, he was able to captivate the audience like nobody else could. People were able to relate to, you know, a hard-working guy that's trying to fight the upper-class system and trying to get ahead. Great NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So much that he's done in wrestling. So amazing on the mic. I can't say enough good things about him. Such a what's the word I'm looking for? Creative guy too. Like, he saw something, like when he worked with NXT and all those people you hear in all the documentaries, like, he was able to see what they needed and pull that out of them. You know, he was able to see something in Diamond Dallas Page and pull out a heavyweight champ out of them. You know, just overall had to make the list.
Shockmaster.
Yes.
All right. My number 5, I think Jerome's going to hate it, but...
Uh-oh.
Goldberg. All right. So the reason why, not recent Goldberg. No. The reason why Goldberg number 5 is because he was one of like 2 or 3 reasons I watched WCW over Raw. And I just remember turning it on and going, "Oh my God, he's 27-0. Oh, is he gonna lose? Is he gonna lose?" And it was just like this excitement when I was 15 to 18 or earlier than that, of like, is he gonna lose? Oh, I just want to see him just rip this guy apart, like, and it was just an excitement to it that I just enjoyed, and I would always channel flip just for his matches, or like one of the people I would change for, and it was I just remembered a lot of excitement around that. So. Old school WCW, Goldberg. And when he first came to WWE, I was like, oh, that's exciting. And then after that, I was like, okay, no. Are you talking, Rome? I can't hear you, bro.
Rome's so mad he wants.
I don't think he's there. I haven't seen him in a little while.
No, he's there. I see him.
Oh.
Top
I just can't
five?
hear him. Oh, there you
Top
go.
Oh,
five?
there we go.
Yeah.
Top five? I would have probably put up top 10 or but
All right. All right.
who's
Maybe
next? Who's
maybe 90
next?
or maybe
That was
Oh,
his
ne-
exact line. That was it. Who's next? That's all he said. The spear, jackknife.
Well, that's
Done.
what was exciting at that point because that's all he could do, and he would just
and
come
they-
in and fuck
and
people
they
up.
and they made up numbers with him because they couldn't
Oh,
get
yeah.
they
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
beat WWE, so they got some guy who
They were
had
like
the looks.
2010 wins. And it's like he
Well,
Who's
this guy's
had
next?
This guy still got Kevin Nash on his mind. He just called the jackhammer the jackknife.
them.
There you go. Okay, thank you, Sean. Yeah, because the guy who beat him was another loser. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, the fact that they had to do that to make him lose, I was pissed because I remember being like, no, that's bullshit. But again, I think it's just the excitement and the energy that it got me. Almost like I knew it wasn't real, but it was kind of like, that's when I think I first really got into the storyline of being like, no, fuck that shit, stupid. But yeah.
I loved it. It took a taser to beat the guy. It shows how tough he is.
I know, but didn't it frustrate you as a fan?
I
No,
think
I
what bothers
loved
me the
it.
most, the whole gimmick bothered me because you knew it was gonna end.
Eventually, yeah.
Exactly. So it was like it was end to lose. I mean, it had to lose. So, but then you had to make it like, I think the way he should have lost it was like maybe with 20 power bombs or something like that. And I would have, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Or
whatever.
bring up a new star or something, but I knew
just don't think
WCW wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
They cattle prodded his ass.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that
Right.
was during the time that some people were in leadership that was supposed to be wrestling, and they, it was a bad time for WCW.
Yeah. I mean, WWE Goldberg, no. It was strictly WCW Goldberg. But all right, Rome, number 4.
Who's next? I guess. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Who's next?
316, the Stone Cold.
Okay.
Okay.
That will be my top 4. I mean, I
Okay.
think his whole thing was, badass. Didn't give a damn about anything. The head shake was, I think, pretty cool. The stunner also was a nice move. You could have from anywhere. Didn't matter who it was. The Big Show. Doesn't matter who it was.
That's true.
It was a very versatile finisher. Also, 316, was iconic. I think as as a gimmick. So Stone Cold.
Everyone had that shirt.
It's one of
Yep.
the greatest promos ever.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to kick their boss's asses.
Yep.
Yeah.
And stick your middle fingers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
you can't
think
argue
about this.
Cold being in the top 5 of any list wrestling related.
Yeah.
So I just made this connection. I don't know why it took me this long to make this connection. Austin versus McMahon. Almost blue collar against authority, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Austin was a different version of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Yes.
If you think about it. Because it was always Dusty versus the Horseman, blue collar versus upper class. Then you have Austin, which was blue collar versus the boss.
Okay, I can see that.
But
Okay.
they were totally different ways. I don't know why that just clicked in my head.
Makes sense.
All right. Shawnee, 4.
My number 4, the excellence of execution, Bret the Hitman Hart.
All right.
Okay.
This guy was a staple of my childhood, and he's not somebody I really appreciated as much until I got older. Again, until I started kind of training wrestling myself and looking at things a little bit differently in regards to matches and whatnot. I mean, this guy, the believability, again, I keep saying this, the fight feel. I feel like every time there's a Bret Hart match, this guy went into it with pride, like he was trying to win a battle.
Yeah.
Like when he was a champ and he was defending the belt, and he would kiss that belt like it could be the last time he was going to hold it. Like it was that real to him, and just like so many little things that he did. He wasn't the greatest promo, but he was believable. He was just believable enough. And like certain things he did in the matches to get for sympathy, where when he would get thrown into the turnbuckle chest first and then just crumble. You know, it was just like little things like that that made huge differences in his matches. And you talk about his 1997 run, you know, the anti-American Canadian hero, just some of the best stuff ever in wrestling.
Yeah, I think he was married to his craft. He was really good at it.
Yeah.
Really
Maybe
good.
too much. Maybe
Yes.
too much. Like
The
too
best
scary.
there was, the best there is, the best there will be. Yeah, he was very
Yeah.
good. I like them a lot.
Yep.
I would have put him on my top 10, but I knew somebody else would, so I didn't want to.
All right.
You know, I actually went that route too. Like, I knew like a lot of wrestlers would be on everybody's top 10, so I tried to pick ones that like wouldn't be. But I agree with him.
All right. So what's your number 4?
Ooh. All right. So I was gonna again switch it around, but I decided that this
We're
one I
switching
probably
Andy a lot.
shouldn't, and I'm not gonna do what I normally do for top 10s, and that's group things together. Because I've been told it's not fair. So I'm just gonna do this, and just know that my top 4 is grouped together. But if I have to choose one,
He's holding up the fingers. You know what this means.
it's Double A Arn Anderson.
Aha.
Okay? You want to talk about fight feeling? I'm not gonna group them together. But you got Tully Blanchard, you got Arn Anderson, you got James J. Dillon, Ric Flair, you had Ole Anderson, you had Barry Windham. Those guys, especially against Dusty, they made the fight real every single time they got in the ring. Arn Anderson always was a fight when he got in the ring. Not only his in-ring work was amazing, his mic work was amazing. He wasn't one of those people that was flashy, and he says it himself. He's not going to come out of here hooting and hollering with spit flying out of his mouth. But you know he's mad. Why are you asking him if he's mad? If I took your baby stroller and kicked it in the street and a car hit it, wouldn't you be mad? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's how I feel. Arn Anderson just took things and just dug it in, and like he was believable. He's I can't say enough good. I would put him as number 1 if I could. Well, I could, but I feel like he has to hold the number 4 spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Arn, I mean, as good as that guy is, still one of the most underrated guys ever. And of course, unfortunately, you know, if you're mainly known for being in a group with Ric Flair, then
Yes.
that's the shadow.
See, and he never saw it that way. Like, they all had their spot, and he was happy and proud to carry that television championship around, you know?
Oh yeah.
And him and Tully being tag team champions, they were proud to carry that around, you know? And I think that's what made the Four Horsemen so dominant, is because they just wanted to be dominant in wrestling. And by all of them winning together, they were all world heavyweight champions.
They know
in
their
a
role.
sense.
All right. My number 4. Rey Mysterio.
Booyaka.
High flyers again. High
Yes,
flyer.
sir, of course. So, Rey Mysterio, there's more of like a feeling, kind of like just memories kind of thing. I remember watching him in WCW with Billy Kidman when they were the tag team, and Rey Mysterio was not wearing a mask. I remember him being demasked and putting on the mask and all that stuff.
He wore the
Also,
devil horns on his head.
what?
He wore those devil horns on his head when he didn't have the mask on.
Yep. Oh, those were so bad. And then he was
Wasn't
wearing
it
like
Kevin?
the really baggy jeans. It was yeah.
Didn't Kevin Nash demask him?
I believe
Yeah.
so.
The man.
But not only that, then the fact that like when he went to WWE, that's when I started recording each week, like on a VHS, and I would record every Monday night, every SmackDown, every Raw, all that stuff. So I would have a tape for Raw, a tape for SmackDown, and a Rey Mysterio tape.
Wow.
So when they were like, Rey Mysterio's match is coming up next, I would take out the SmackDown tape, put in the Rey Mysterio tape, record his match, take it off, put it, and put the SmackDown tape back in. So I just had VHSs of all his SmackDown matches. But again, that's when SmackDown was like great. That's when it was like Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, like Rey Mysterio, all that, and like at that point, and the fact that okay, so then I did see him wrestle versus Kurt Angle at the Renegade Stadium. So just seeing him in person, even though he was like older, you could still go, "Wow, this guy's fucking amazing." And the fact that he won, to me, the fact that he won the championship kind of gave shorter guys, smaller guys like Daniel Bryan and stuff like that a chance and being like, okay, they can get there too. And the fact that he's still wrestling and now he's wrestling with his son, and spoiler alert, he won the tag team championships tonight with his son, is just like that it's just that much more. Seeing where he started to where he is now, it top four.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guess it's a good thing he won custody against Eddie Guerrero, right?
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
So,
Rest in peace, Eddie.
Yup. All right, Romy, number 3.
So my number 3 is Sean number 10 and Rob number 9, I think. Yeah. So it's Y2J.
Now we're both number 10, baby.
Yeah, we're both number 10. We matched it.
Okay.
All right, then. Tell us why he's so much higher on your list, then. Jerk.
I mean, you guys said everything for me, right? I mean, he's marketable. He's doing it right now. I think one of the things that I like about him the most is that he's so versatile.
Yeah.
He moves with the trend. He does not get behind. It doesn't matter. He just knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. My next picks, they know what they're doing. They keep to their craft, and he's a chameleon. He will make it work no matter what. That's what I like him.
That's an excellent way to describe it. Yeah, I like that.
And that's why he's my number 3.
All right.
Nice.
Not number 10, number 3.
All right.
Do you have a favorite Chris Jericho? Do you have a favorite Chris Jericho memory?
I think it was a whole feud with The Rock. I like that one because he was like, they were trying to give him not give him too much shine, but he made himself likable.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Shawnee, number 3.
All right, so we're gonna pull a little switcheroo here. Jerome had our guy from number 10 at his number 3, and I don't think this was his number 10, but he was much lower on his list. But my number 3, Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
To me, I've been an Eddie Guerrero fan since the first time I saw him in WCW in 1996. Before he was like the super shredded, nasty heel Eddie Guerrero feuding with Rey Mysterio. I even loved this guy when he had the big, puffy, dried up mullet and like that white, the white full body singlet deal that went all the way down his legs and whatever. I don't know. Something about that guy, even back then, before he was talking, doing all that stuff, something about his matches and the way he wrestled, I just gravitated to it. And to me, as time went on, I loved him as a heel in WCW, like in '97 with all that stuff going on, just a scowl and like the way he would walk to the ring. Then coming to WWE and just like, to me, he personified like passion.
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy, like passion just like leaked out of the TV when that guy was performing. And kind of a, what do you want to call it? A little bit of a morbid fact here. Dude died on my 21st birthday.
Damn. Dude.
That was really sad.
Wow.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that I was studying a lot when I was training to wrestle myself. And this, sounds maybe corny, but because he was such a big inspiration to me at that time, like he died right in the middle of like me, like starting to train. And he, like I said, he was somebody I was studying and somebody I really looked up to. It's almost like this weird part of me died that day too. And I just wasn't as motivated to wrestle after that anymore.
Wow.
Okay. Andy?
All right. My number 3. I feel like he should be higher up.
I think so too.
Feel like if I don't say it now, someone's gonna say it before me. I need to be the first.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with The Undertaker.
Wow.
Okay.
Top 3. Here's why. Taker has found a way to change who he was throughout his entire career to not only keep him relevant, but to also bring new and interesting stuff to the program as the program progresses. You had the Dead Man, you had the Ministry of Darkness, then you had the Biker, then back to the Dead Man / Biker look. Then you had back to the Biker for his final one with AJ, which that in itself I think has been one of the greatest movie style matches that I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. I thought it was absolutely awesome. The way he works in the ring, the one moment that I can think of is a huge segment, but it's when he was marrying Stephanie McMahon. And Austin comes down to the ring to save her, and like everybody tries to come down. Mankind comes down. He gets meet with the Ministry. Big Show comes down, takes everybody out, and then Taker hits Big Show with a baseball bat. And he takes everything. Then Austin comes down. And like his feud with Austin, and he puts him on the cross and hangs Austin on the cross on his symbol. Like we talked about in the news, that's not something you can do today in this era, you know?
Nope.
But it was awesome back then. It made sense. And him trying to embalm Austin, but then Austin winds up shoving Taker and Paul Bearer down a manhole somewhere. Like, or I think it was Kane and Paul Bearer down a manhole. But like, just Taker is one of those legends that like just like when you say like legends never die, like he throughout his entire career, like he never had a moment to where like he was lower on the card. If like Taker was one of those marquee guys, Taker was in town, you're going to see him.
Yep.
I mean, also the iconic way he stand when he that he used to do that. Like that kind of sit-up thing that he used to just sit up. That was iconic.
Yep. Yep.
He scared kids.
Oh, absolutely. He was a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like WWE Backlash. Maybe one of those zombies is a future Undertaker.
Top 3, definitely. Top 3.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So my top 3. My top 3 is has already been said by 2 people. Eddie Guerrero.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Hey, baby, it's the second time we got the same guy and the same number.
I know, right? So I don't know if it's gonna happen again, but we'll see. I'm gonna say everything that Jerome said, everything that Sean said. His matches in WCW with Rey Mysterio, awesome. And when he was the Latino Heat, like you loved to hate him because like you wanted to be him because he has such swagger and such confidence that you were like, damn, I wish I could be that guy. Because again, when I was watching wrestling, when he was wrestling, I was in high school and I was the kid that was getting picked on all the time. And I think I saw something being like, damn, I wish I was Eddie Guerrero. But then he was like kind of slick that like he was a bad guy, but you also liked him. It was this like weird complex thing, and I think that's what made him so interesting is because you hated him, but you wanted to be him.
Yes.
And he just had this swag, and then just his wrestling. Again, my last 2 picks were Latino picks because I think at that point, like I was watching wrestling with my family, and I think that's kind of who they rocked with. So a combination Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, that's 3-4 right there for me.
Very nice. Yep. Another high flyer.
Yep.
It's funny. So I purposely didn't put Eddie on my list.
I know because we talked about it before we started recording.
Because I knew Eddie was so iconic that he would be on everybody's list.
Yes.
But so
I didn't give a shit any of you guys were going to put on your list. I made my own damn list.
So he would have been on. He would have been the only wrestler on all 4 of our lists.
Facts.
I think we might have somebody. I think we have somebody probably in everybody's list.
Yeah, the list isn't over yet.
Yeah,
you're right.
Well, it's crazy because I loved Eddie during his entire career, but when I loved Eddie the most was when he was feuding with Rey Mysterio when he was the super serious heel.
Mm-hmm.
In '97 WCW.
Yep.
No. Past that.
Oh, you mean 5. I'm your
Yeah.
poppy.
Yeah.
I like the
when it was just,
WCW
like,
for better.
straight face Eddie, and like he had like the long hair with the frosted tips, but like he was beating the dog shit out of people. I love that Eddie.
And the fact that a lot of wrestlers still like strive to be him and like take his moves and dedicate matches to him and dedicate it's been what 15 years, 10 years.
I mean, he died very young too.
Yeah, it was like 36, I think. So
Yeah.
38, and it was November 13th, 2005.
Wow.
Yeah. So again,
Wow.
think about what his career would have been, or what he would have been if he was still around. There's still wrestlers like AJ Styles is like 44, so he could have possibly had an extra 6 years.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
And like him beating Brock. Like,
Oh yes.
holy shit! Like that, no one thought he was gonna beat him, and that was one of those things that everyone was like had
Happy
his
about
back, and that was like one of those moments like, holy shit, you took down the beast. So that match, I remember being like, wow, he did it. So
Yeah, go back and watch that crowd.
Went crazy.
Insane crowd reaction, like, and genuine, you know?
yeah.
Yep. I mean, look at him and JBL. JBL
Right.
tried to show people his brain with that chair shot.
Well, he gave his mom a heart attack for real.
I mean, I could see why.
All right, Romy, top 2.
Well, Andy got it. The Undertaker. I think
Okay.
the only person that stuck his gimmick throughout the ages and never broke character, The Undertaker.
That's true. He was.
He was
never broke character.
Never broke character. So
Admission,
that's why
man.
he's my number 2.
Rome, have you watched the Last Ride special on him?
No, I have not.
If he's in your top 2, you have to watch it.
Okay.
Because he goes
So
into
good.
like it's like a full interview of him out of character, talking about his whole career, his choices to retire, all this stuff, and it was like
Like his mindset not to break character. all those
yeah,
Oh
Everything.
wow.
it was
It's
like
like
the yeah.
first thing.
Oh yeah, it was like the most insider Undertaker documentary that you could watch.
Okay.
That is coming from him.
Gotcha. Okay. The last ride.
Yeah, really
Okay.
good.
I'll take a look at it.
Awesome. All right, Shawnee.
All right, my number 2, HBK, Shawn Michaels.
All right. All right.
Wow.
So there's kind of a theme. I didn't really realize this, but I've just kind of hit me that there's kind of a theme going on here with my list, and it's either people who I either felt like I could relate to in some way, or people who like inspired me. And Shawn Michaels is the reason I wanted to become a wrestler when I was a kid. Like he was like Shawn Michaels and the Rockers was like, you know, everybody was Hogan kids back then and all that. I was all about the Rockers when I was a little kid. And then I'm 12 years old, and like the whole thing with him winning the title in 96. The big story was like, oh, the 12-year-old boyhood dream. And I was 12 years old when that shit was going on. So that clicked with me, and I related to that, and it inspired me. And, you know, this guy has probably turned out more like high quality big match performances than anybody like ever. And they're all so different and so unique. And you want to talk about somebody who's like a master at getting sympathy, somebody that draws you in emotionally. And then, you know, the guy goes away for 4 years. Nope. I was at the match when he had his comeback at SummerSlam 2002 against Triple H. And then he had another, and you think that was going to be it. And he had another 8 or 9 years after that of probably even better performances than he had before he went away for those 4 years. But I mean, you can't say enough about this guy. You could go on and on and on and on and on about him. But HBK, you can say what you want about his gimmick, Jerome. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of Chippendales-esque, and maybe you can't market that character today. But in terms of like from a wrestling fan standpoint, there's always a place for Shawn Michaels.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, back in the day, I mean, he used to be one of my favorite characters, but again, I had to somehow figure out how to market these people today because I was looking at it. Because, like I said, I haven't watched any wrestling since the Attitude Era. I think 2002, 2004. I haven't watched any wrestling, so I can't visualize how can I market,
Right.
HBK right now. I mean, he would probably be laughed at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And that's the thing. When he came back, he didn't do all that all that
dancing, yeah, all the dancing.
But he did a little bit of the dancing in his entrances, but it wasn't all like the stripping and all that stuff.
Okay.
It was much more toned down. It was more about the in ring.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was saved HBK. That's why.
Yep.
He was well as I said. Oh yeah, he was. Oh, I had no idea.
I mean, I'm sure you can probably still market him today, and he can probably, knowing him, if he put his mind to it, he could probably still go with a lot of people.
Oh no, I bet. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're not gonna keep the same gimmick, but move it around a little bit, right? I mean, Vince McMahon used to be I don't know if he's still the same guy. Vince McMahon's a genius, right?
Yeah.
He's an age genius, that's for sure.
No, there you go. But isn't like everybody's like move is like the switching music? Everybody does that now, like nowadays, or right?
It's not even a finisher anymore.
The super kick. Shawn Michaels went away, and everybody loves the super kick. So
yeah, it was easy to hit, probably, I guess, right? How hard is that to do, Andy?
What was that?
How hard is that to do?
A super kick?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's gotta be a little flexible.
Yeah, you got to be flexible, but I don't want to get kicked in the jaw.
Okay, gotcha.
And none of those other super kicks matter because nobody else can win a match with them.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Not,
just like
not
the
even Dolph
clothesline.
Ziggler.
Clothesline used to be a finish. Like, look at JBL. Look at Stan Hansen.
Yes.
Stan Hansen used to take people's heads off because apparently he was blind in one eye, but that was the arm that he threw it with. So, like,
I mean, think about Jake, the DDT.
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
So
everybody uses it.
Well, QT Marshall kicked out of a tombstone the other day.
But it was Taker that did it.
So has this. Yeah, that's true.
That don't get me started on tombstones though. Jumping, spinning, twisting tombstones just for
Those are your favorites,
finishing
bro.
a fucking armbar. Bullshit.
All right, go.
I'm really pissed off about that now. I'm still mad about that.
That's why I was trying to push it because I knew you were gonna get pissed.
I'm still mad about. All right. So before I go on a tangent about that, my number 2, everybody I'm pretty sure has said it at one point or another. I think Rob said it. I'm not sure. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mr. Austin 316 himself. Another guy just like Triple H, just like The Undertaker, very passionate and dedicated to what they did. You couldn't tell them that they weren't who they were, And Austin, you've seen it on all the documentaries, he went to the hospital before his King of the Ring match with Jake. And as soon as he came back, they were just like, hey, Jake cut this religious promo on you. Austin's like, all right, bet, I got this. And then Austin cuts a whole promo on him that turns into a giant movement, which turns into one of his top-selling T-shirts of all time. That people still
The
wear
top-selling T-shirt of all time.
The
Not
top-selling
his.
T-shirt. Yes.
It's like the.
Yeah. And, everybody knows the stunner. Everybody knows once that glass breaks, all shit is breaking loose.
Yes.
One of my favorite moments, one of my favorite matches, again, of all time is Austin vs. Rock, WrestleMania 17.
Yes.
But one of my favorite moments, which I could probably recite because as a kid I had it on a little cassette tape and I used to play it over again because it was his brand new music and I loved his music. So I recorded it on a cassette tape, on the Talkboy actually. Recorded on a fucking Talkboy. And I used to play it over and over again. And it's when Austin came back and saved the WWF from the Alliance. And he comes in and he's beating everybody with a tire iron, right? And then all of a sudden it's silent. WWF's getting their ass whooped. That glass breaks and the crowd goes fucking. That pop is so loud, it's insane. And he gets in there and he hands out 7 or 8 stunners, and then everybody hits their deal. Yeah, and then everybody hits their deal. Other than the McMahon wedding, which is still one of my tops too. I think that moment huge. So, Austin.
All right. Okay. We still don't have a wrestler that's on all four yet, and we're about to be done with second to last round. My number 2 is Rocky, The Rock.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So for all the same reasons that were mentioned before, again, when The Rock was big, I was that kid that was picked on in high school. So I used to have The Rock's poster on my wall. I used to think one day I was going to be a wrestler, like all this shit. Like he was the man. Like it was I think the thing that attracted me to him in the sense of my favorite wrestler at that point was his confidence. Like literally, he didn't put up with no one's shit. Like it doesn't matter what your name is. Like he would like shut people down. Like fuck, I don't care about you. I'm the man. And like he knew, like you believed it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And again, the fact that he's now a movie star or a TV star, he has his own show, The Young Rock. Like he's the highest paid actor he has been the highest paid actor in Hollywood. The fact that he kind of led the way from wrestlers going into acting, just what he does for everyone around him, charity, all that other stuff, even to this day. The fact that he's a Moana, which I'm sure Jerome has watched about 1,000.5 times.
Yes.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie. But overall, I just think The Rock was number one guy at that point.
Sean, did you say The Rock?
I agree. The people's elbow man was crazy.
Sean didn't say The Rock. I do not think we're going to have all four. I think it would have been Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to pick this one already. I know.
Number 1, and I think is probably the best guy to cut ever promos. He's just, I mean, the Nature Boy. Ric
Okay.
Flair.
Woo!
I mean, you could go to YouTube and just put Ric Flair probably 3 hours of just him talking, and everything is gold.
Mm-hmm.
Every single thing is gold.
Yep.
That guy was amazing. My top,
Bro,
my
have you
top.
ever seen do you know I don't know if you know who Jay Lethal is.
No.
So
yeah.
Oh, you
Just-
have to see that.
the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life, maybe. Just go
in
to
Ric Flair wise, yeah.
just type Jay Lethal Ric Flair into YouTube, and hopefully
Fine.
you'll get as much joy out of it as I have.
I'll do that
Matter of
tonight.
fact, I'm sending you the link right now.
All right, thank you, Andy. Thank you, Andy.
Dude, just the way he like copies his like walk, his strut. Oh, so funny.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
That segment is hilarious.
Yeah.
Watch that.
You sent to me, Andy?
I'm looking it up now.
I probably watch that once a month.
Oh, damn.
It is a good laugh.
No, he's
All right.
pretty good. His promos are the best. I think he's probably the best guy to cut promos.
Okay. And he was a workhorse.
Yes.
Oh.
Town to town, you know what I'm saying? Like 45-minute matches, like, yeah.
Indeed.
The most time champion, 16 times.
Wow.
I mean, you got to lose 16 times, so you're not very good.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I think he was 40 years wrestling, but about 40 years, right?
I mean, his last match was...
It's like 35 or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was like 1970s, like the mid 70s until like 2008.
Wow.
That's what it was. It was like 72 until 2008.
Wow. All right, Sean.
All right, my numero uno. I think this is a guy that from a mainstream, if you're like kind of like the general public knows who this guy is. And there's only a handful of guys that like the general public, a casual fan, whatever, would know. That's Hogan, Rocky, and Austin. I was never much of a Hogan or a Rocky guy. So my number 1 is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
This,
What?
I don't think Rob had him.
No, I did not have him.
Oh, you didn't have him?
Wow.
Oh.
So 3. He got 3.
Man, Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. Like, you talk about just exciting TV. You talk about a guy who every working class person can relate to. Now, at the time, I wasn't a working class person, but I was a pissed off teenager. And so you could feed into it from that regard too. You know what's funny is like that Austin 316 promo was not initially the thing that got me with him. No, for me, it was his feud with Bret Hart later that year, and specifically one line that he said that got me hooked on this guy when he was taunting Bret Hart before Bret Hart came back and laying out the challenge to him. He goes, "You put the letter S in front of Hitman, and you have my exact opinion of Bret Hart." And I lost my shit when I saw that. That was it. I was on that train from that day on. I was on the Stone Cold Steve Austin choo-choo train, baby. But it's like so many memories. Like, I mean, that guy. You want to talk about moments? Like, I got probably, if you think back to like wrestling and different exciting times, like more moments involving that guy will pop into your head. You know, and like one of my favorite feuds ever that I think is a hugely underrated feud that doesn't get talked about much is his feud with Bret Hart from late 96 into 1997. You know, their match at Survivor Series 96 was a clinic. Then from there, they're just feuding nonstop. The Royal Rumble performance and like the feud they had was in that Royal Rumble. That Royal Rumble 1997 was built around the two of them. And then that culminated in WrestleMania 13, you know, one of my favorite matches ever. But it's just, you know, there's this guy personifies badass. And, you know, and again, you want to talk about versatility. He could be funny. He could be mean. He does it all pretty much, except for jumping off the top rope. But yeah, I'm a huge Stone Cold Steve Austin mark. I wish I was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I wish Stone Cold Austin was my dad.
I mean, also he was like I don't think he was ever like a quote unquote baby face. He was always like a heel, but was the favorite heel always. He was never like a hero. It was always like the anti-hero that you love.
Yeah. He was so good at being a heel that you loved him.
Correct.
Something that Eddie Guerrero had too. He was so good at doing what he did that you loved him for it.
Yep.
I agree.
Andy, who you got, Andy?
So
I already know who he has. I already know.
Yeah, we already know. I mean, I'm pretty sure these two are predictable. Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Oh, ours?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my number one, of course, is the 16-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Whoa, daddy.
So, Ric Flair for me meant so many different things. I mean, granted, I love the Horsemen. I love everything about the Horsemen. But if you actually break it down and look at it, it's the Horsemen stood as they will work their ass off so that way they stay at the best of their game. And they were so good because they worked their ass off. They didn't have to put any character behind it. They didn't have to put any flashy stuff behind it. I mean, besides Ric Flair, but that's who he was. He lived that high life. But they enjoyed the finer things in life because they worked their ass off to get there. Flair on the mic, there's so many good spots. Like, you know, I came here and I got your girl like a little bathing suit for your little girls, and this one here is for my big girls. And like, Flair would just go off the rip, and then Arn would just bring it right back around. Now we're gonna kick your ass, and then like it all made sense. And again, marquee guy, Ric Flair's in town. Got to buy a ticket. I'm going to see him. Not only that, the stuff that he's done after he stopped wrestling, and then kind of started wrestling again, like the stuff with Evolution, like him and Triple H single-handedly, like what's the word I'm looking for? Help push Batista and Orton's career from where it started. Flair helped the younger guys with Fortune in Impact, and then everywhere he went, he was always helping guys, and just his matches are iconic.
Even his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And him managing his daughter and helping his daughter along, and now she's taking the Flair name and kicking ass with it. But yeah, Flair's number one.
Okay.
I agree.
Wow. Similar with number ones. So since I'm last, and obviously my number one is the most important. And the greatest of all time, and he's still proving it every single day.
Just stop.
I don't know who it's gonna be. I think Andy knows who it's gonna be. Maybe Sean. Jerome definitely doesn't know. So
We all know. We all know.
I think he was still in school.
I guess I should tell you what it is then, huh?
Terry Beta, something like that.
Kenny Omega. Come on. All right, I'm gonna sell them to you, Rome. Okay, I'm gonna fit all the categories.
Okay.
Okay, leader of the Bullet Club, breaks the star rating on wrestling match standards.
God.
Breaks it that none of the people on the list previous have ever broken that.
But who are the judges of this thing? Who's the
Well,
judge?
the
One
same.
guy.
Wait, wait.
One guy.
The same guy, right? The same guy
Who's just a fan.
who rated all of the old school matches, just like all your guys, on your list. He rated all those matches, so he was fair all around because he saw it all. Okay. Kenny Omega broke his rating system. He's one of the top, people in the wrestling media. Okay, so people respect his opinion. So broke the rating system as the number two or three matches above the rating system. He now broke it. He broke it multiple times. Ooh. I saw him break it the first time in person when I went to Japan. This guy has great matches with everybody from New Japan to Mexico to ex-WWE wrestlers like Jericho and Dean Ambrose. He could make up-and-coming guys look great. He is currently the Impact, the AAA, and the AEW champion. Wow. At the same time, holding 3 belts. He is the reason why AEW exists. In my opinion, him and Jericho, because that match that he had with Jericho went over so well, and the American crowd started watching New Japan, which then showed America all of these talents who weren't watching it, which then created AEW.
That was more Jericho going there, but anyway.
So one question. Do you think if I were to ask my wife, does he know Kenny Omega? You think she's gonna know him?
Because he's still active.
Oh.
He's active.
What about Gina? I think Gina will know him.
She
knows of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now hold on, Rome. So,
but I'm assuming that Gina just is more aware of wrestling than Haiti probably is right now.
Yeah, but Haiti will know Stone Cold, The Rock, probably Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair.
Yeah, no, I like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rome, in your category, right, of could you market him?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he can be. Yes,
he is clearly marketed worldwide since he is in he is currently wrestling in AAA, Impact, and AEW. And I'm sure when Japan gets open, he might go back over there, and he's going to be probably doing indie shows when the world goes back open. So he's not just stuck in one company at one time. He is literally wrestling the best wrestlers in the entire world.
Wow.
At one point. So his career is just all like this. Okay, ready? When he was tag teaming with Kota Ibushi, great tag team wrestler. When he was tagging with Hangman Page, great tag team wrestler. And a lot of people might go, his promo sucks. I'm going to clear that shit up right now. Okay? He was brought up in the Young Lion system, which is New Japan. So most of his promo skills are based in Japan. And if you listen to him as an English speaker targeting a Japanese audience, He is a great fucking promo because he is now talking as an animated. Because that's what he did in Japan. He basically lived. He like embodied a anime villain. So when he spoke in English in Japan, he had that like I will defeat you kind of like that like tone of voice. So he did that, and that targeted that audience again. And the fact that he used to speak Japanese and English and twist his like I'm gonna be a heel and I'm gonna say the promo like start the promo off in Japanese, and then just to be an asshole, I'm now gonna switch it to English because half of you don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Badass, okay. Bullet Club leader, like crazy matches, Okada matches. I can't wait. You want to know what my theory is? He's gonna win. He has the AAA. He has the AEW. He has the Impact. I think he's gonna end up going to Japan if they open up soon enough. He's gonna go after the New Japan belt, and then Ibushi is gonna come back, and it's gonna be best friend versus best friend, and that match is gonna be fucking crazy. On top of that, I met him. Awesome guy. That's always a perk, but. Kenny and okay, now I'm gonna sell it even more. Because again, okay,
Man,
you
somebody
want
woke up all of a sudden.
you want to you want to talk about work rate? You want to talk about work rate? He is known for like 30 to 45, 50-minute matches. He is full throttle all around for Jerome, who doesn't know his matches. He is high flying, but he also is a big enough guy. He'll throw you around, combination, speed. Like,
can he do his finisher on the Big Show?
I think he could. I think he could.
Andy, what do you think, Andy? What do you think, Andy?
Finisher.
The one-wing
The
angle.
angel,
One-winged
yeah.
angel.
I think he could.
Andy.
Cena picked up Big Show. All you have to do is put him on his shoulder, just in a different way.
Realize what you just said?
He is
Yep.
not John Cena.
Andy,
I think he could.
Andy, what do you think, Andy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I do.
But if we're talking V trigger, then yes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's normally a setup for it, but
He's finished people with the V trigger too.
that's true. But again, 6-star matches, heart like agility, like he's full pace all match, 45-minute matches, champion all around the world, considered the best wrestler, current best wrestler. He still has years to go. He's still finding his promo now, and now he's like this smug like Vice City guy. I'm down with it. It took him a little while to get his footing in America promo style, but I'm down with it. He's getting better. I think all around right now, give it to the rest of his career, he's going to go down as top 5, if not top 3.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know him, so. But I don't watch wrestling right now, so I don't know.
Boom.
I think Ric Flair right now is the champion.
I'll send you some matches if you want.
All right. Send me some matches.
3.
Am I allowed to go on like a rant now to refute that?
Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Listen, I think when you have a guy like this, okay, Rob wants to talk about the promo in Japan. That's fine and all. He could cut a promo in Japan.
Hello?
He has taken it to the point where every single match he has is this big, crazy match. So guess what? When you do the same crazy big match all the time, it's not special anymore. It's called psychology.
All his matches have a story. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Kick out of every friggin' finisher 100 times.
Oh, that's like the end of the match. Watch the first 40 minutes.
So much of your argument on Dave Meltzer's star rating. It's one guy's opinion. I have a huge issue with that because it's one guy's opinion that the internet wrestling crowd takes as gospel.
Listen.
I'm kind of with Sean with that. I don't agree with one person who has so much power.
All right, well,
He could have been drunk watching this or high or something, and then he think it was some big thing.
Whoa. There's 3 matches that broke the system.
And
Go on to Grapple.
Maybe he's his best friend too. We don't know that. They're best friends.
Go on. There's an app called Grapple that fans can rate matches.
No, this is a guy, Dave Meltzer, who has a history of picking and choosing favorites. And Kenny Omega didn't break Dave Meltzer's star system. Dave Meltzer chose those numbers himself.
Oh,
That's true.
stop.
That makes a lot of sense.
Those matches were so good, you can't even deny it.
This.
Those are probably the best matches you've seen.
No, I will say those matches with Okada were great. They were great.
Tell me one that's better. Tell me one that's better.
Me personally?
Yeah, one.
I'll pick Shawn Michaels and Undertaker at WrestleMania 25.
Close, but not close.
I'll pick Steve Austin, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13.
No.
I'll pick any Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat match any day. I'll pick any Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan any day.
No.
And you're saying no to matches you haven't seen before.
I've seen most of those matches.
But you know what? Like, yeah, Dave. That all kidding aside, Kenny's good. I have a huge issue with people like using Dave Meltzer's star rating system as a reasoning for picking or choosing a favorite wrestler. It's one guy's opinion. It's a guy who has a history of picking and choosing favorites based on who he's friends with in the business.
So and Kenny's the only thing you had a problem with?
What?
That was the only thing you had a problem with? My rating?
I do think he's overrated. I think his promos suck.
Damn.
He's exciting. He's exciting to watch sometimes, but when every match is 100 flips and kicking out at 100 finishers and have no psychology, then they're all the same.
Will you put him on your top 10?
No.
Whoa. What about Andy? Andy, top 10. Speak, bro.
Yes.
Hey,
okay,
no,
top 10.
No,
okay. You
thought
too much. You hesitated. You hesitated a lot.
I had to think.
That question does not make any sense in this conversation because we just went through our top 10 and you didn't have it on.
Thank you, Andy.
Listen,
thank you, Sean.
I already knew it was going to be on the list.
Why are you making your list based on what you think other people are going to say?
Because I want to be different and bring diversity to my list.
I got shit on for Kevin Nash.
Oh my God,
exactly my point.
Because Kevin Nash is let's not talk about
it. All right, Ron, real quick, and then I'll stop. We can go to honorable mentions. I'm going to send you a match. It's probably going to be like 40 to 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I want you to watch it. And at the end, if you're like, there's no way that was 40, 45 minutes. And holy shit, that match was insane. I need you to just say those exact words.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Honorable mentions. I'll go quick. I'll just go first. Billy Kidman, because him and Rey Mysterio in WCW, Billy Kidman in WCW, wasn't he the first one to do the inverted flip?
Shooting star press.
Shooting star press. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
At least on a nationally known level, yes.
Yeah, and he was. I don't know. I just remember, like I said, Rey Mysterio, Billy Kidman. For a while, they were like partnering, and then he came to WWE. Not so much, but him in WCW. That was one. RVD. Brock Lesnar, when he first came in, I was like, dude, this guy's a fucking beast. Like when he would beat up like Spike Dudley, stuff like that. That Kurt Angle match. Not so much now. He's kind of boring and old. Just like used too much. Kurt Angle. The fact that he could range, he was like that goofy guy with the hat, like doing the comedy with Vince McMahon, to like serious, like I'm gonna kick your ass. Like the fact he can go from one side to another. Obviously, like I said, the Brock Lesnar match was awesome, but even his TNA stuff was cool. So yeah, Stone Cold's on my honorable mention, and then I put Adam Cole. Because I think between his independent and now WWE or NXT stuff, like everything he touches is awesome. Like everything he touches. His matches are awesome, just in general. And then I was going to put for an honorable mention of like right now, I would say somebody that I would want to say in the future would be like in my top, Walter. Anytime he wrestles, I'm like, I need to go watch that match. Like there's not many wrestlers now. I'd say there's probably a handful of wrestlers now that if someone goes, they have a match, I'm going to go out of my way to watch it. Even if I don't know the storyline or nothing.
I agree.
And so he's on there. All right, Rome. Any honorable mentions for you?
Well, I'm gonna take that instead and have the power to remove one of your and Sean's people. Goldberg is not in the top 10, and Kevin Nash in the top 10. That will be my vote.
Okay.
Andy, go ahead.
All right. Honorable mention. I got Jericho. Jericho's so versatile. He keeps changing with the times. I got Guerrero because, again, you can't leave Eddie off the list. Iconic.
So he would have been the one that hit all four.
Huh?
He would have been the one guy that would have been on all four of our lists.
Yep.
Eddie Guerrero.
Yep. He's got to be on the list. Stan Hansen, just tough dude. His clotheslines were vicious and iconic. And actually, if you go back and watch his Japan stuff, all of his matches end with him throwing a chair at somebody and then them having chair fights. It's the funniest thing in the world. And it's violent. One guy who is super underrated is like not looked at, right? Like people should like look at him more, right?
Yeah.
Is Brad Armstrong. Amazing worker in the ring. Amazing. Piper changed the game. Growing up, I was always loved Raven just because his promo style was so different, so unique. Nobody was doing poetry style promos, which was awesome. He had that dark side to him. I had to put Balls Mahoney on there. I met Balls, amazing man. Always nice. Will remember your name even years later. And just his work was awesome. I mean, hardcore guy. Bubba Ray Dudley, just such a great heel, such a great worker in the ring, on the mic, can piss you off. Look at his back ECW promos. They can't show those now.
Yes.
And the Horseman, all of them.
No Ted DiBiase?
Ooh,
He's gonna be on NXT next week.
ooh, okay. Yeah, no, I'd add Ted DiBiase to that. Everybody's got a price.
Yeah.
He was the one that made the Ringmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he never won a championship, right?
He won the Intercontinental title.
Oh, he did. Okay.
And then Warrior beat him for it. Oh no, that was Honky Tonk. Right? Am I thinking of Honky
Sean
Tonk
would
now?
know that, but for those who are not watching the video, Sean has vanished.
Yeah, I think his phone probably died.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Just like Kevin Nash's career.
Rome with the Nash hate.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Rome?
No, thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun.
Of course.
This was a lot of fun. We gotta do this again.
Yeah. We're gonna actually, I think me and Andy are gonna podcast together in 2 weeks in person.
Facts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So before we say our goodbyes, Andy and I are just gonna plug the next couple episodes. So again, next week we are going to cover. We're gonna do a crypto recap. Crypto revisit. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin, NFTs, DeFi, Dogecoin, all that stuff. So that's going to be next week. So send any questions that you might have via any of our social platforms. And what do we got after that?
After that, I'm super excited. One of my good friends, one of my best friends, one of my closest friends, Thom will be joining us. He is a streamer, a gamer. He literally plays in his own league. He's an awesome guy. He's going to come on talking about his streaming, how he's built his own team, and how he's got to where he is today. So I'm excited to talk to him. He's been excited to get on here and has actually helped me with like small tips on how to make the pod better for you guys on my end. So I'm excited to talk to him. I can't wait to have him on.
Yep. And then the week after that is when me and Andy are going to do the podcast together for the first time in person. What? And I think we're going to keep that episode as a general, like, let's just see how the conversation goes. Let's just see where it goes. Because we're going to be in person. I mean, there's still going to be so many things to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm
But
excited.
I guess we'll say thank you again, Jerome, for the topic, the top 10. I think it was interesting. We all had very different, we went at it different ways. Our lists were different. Obviously, I know Kenny Omega's the best, so that's fine. So I appreciate
Flair's still number one.
I appreciate the idea. Yeah, I guess if you want to say goodbyes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. So that's it for the Disaster Party Podcast. This is Rob Cedeno.
Andy Bivians.
Buy the dip. Bye. Bye.